Welcome to the Hamdans, bridging two worlds, education, tech, and engineering. And the boss, Daisy, AI or nature walks. Join the journey and subscribe.
Humans have always wanted the warmth of a pet, but we don't always want the chewed-up shoes, the midnight walks in the freezing rain, or the staggering vet bills. In the late 1990s, the tech industry thought it finally had an answer, a companion without the biological upkeep. In 1998, Tiger Electronics released the Furby. It was a fuzzy, owl-like creature that proved consumers were ready to invite domestic, interactive toys into their living rooms. In its initial production run alone, Tiger Electronics sold 40 million units. Shoppers literally fought in store aisles to get their hands on one. The mechanics inside were surprisingly straightforward. Furbies relied on a network of simple light, sound, and touch sensors to react to their owners. Over time, they were programmed to slowly replace their native gibberish language, Furbish, with standard English, creating a clever illusion that they were actively learning. These basic stimulus response tricks worked. They provided just enough feedback to convince the human brain to care about a plastic mechanism, laying the groundwork for engineers to attempt genuine emotional simulation. 1 year later, in May 1999, Sony pushed the concept from reactive toy to autonomous pet with Aibo, the artificial intelligence bot. This flowchart illustrates Aibo's underlying software architecture, the emotional engine. It was programmed to process basic instinctual inputs from its environment and output simulated feelings through 3 distinct nodes: joy, sadness, and anger. Depending on daily feedback, the robot developed a unique personality. If you praised it for playing with a pink ball, it matured from an infant into an energetic adult. If you scolded it, the internal metric shifted toward a more withdrawn disposition. But ambition outpaced reality. The processors of the early 2000s severely restricted how autonomous Aibo could actually be. Eventually, consumer interest faded, and Sony quietly shelved the project in 2006. It took 12 years for hardware to catch up. In 2018, Sony revived the lineage with the ERS-1000, replacing the primitive emotional engine with modern cloud connectivity and deep learning algorithms. Aibo proved that a digital personality could be coded into a machine, provided you had the patience to wait for the silicon to handle the math. By the mid-2020s, the computing bottlenecks were gone. Processing power had finally matched the dreams of the late 90s, opening the door for a wave of advanced desktop companions. 3 distinct machines emerged to dominate the modern market: Luna, Vector, and Emo. Luna takes the form of a highly mobile robot dog, utilizing wheels to rapidly roam around the floor and actively seek out interaction. It navigates using 3D time-of-flight LiDAR, allowing the unit to map out a living room, recognize obstacles, and actively avoid falling downstairs. Vector takes a different approach, scooting around on tank treads as a stationary desk assistant, while Emo walks on 2 feet to provide low-maintenance tabletop entertainment. The stumbling blocks of early quadruped movement were gone. Engineers had successfully solved the core issues of mobility and environmental awareness. With physical movement solved, developers turned to software. The breakthrough was integrating large language models like ChatGPT directly into the hardware. Instead of relying on a rigid tree of pre-programmed responses, these machines could now engage in open-ended, dynamic conversations that felt completely spontaneous. This created a distinct separation from traditional household robotics. While a vacuum is built purely for utility, these companions are engineered entirely for emotional bonding. They establish this bond through highly expressive digital eyes, responsive vocal tones, and physical play, like chasing a ball or leaning into a user's hand when petted. Through cloud computing and advanced sensors, humanity had engineered the absolute zenith of artificial companionship. Or so we thought, until a completely disruptive new model entered the market and rendered them all obsolete. This next-generation model bypassed traditional silicon constraints entirely, introducing an architecture no lab in Silicon Valley could replicate. Enter the DaisyBot E1000. Instead of a cold polycarbonate chassis, Daisy's premium thermal shell is wrapped in an advanced biotextile blue and gray knit sweater. She maps her environment using dual highly sensitive moist nasal trackers, completely bypassing LiDAR. By utilizing a strictly biological framework, this unit completely bypasses the uncanny valley effect, a problem that robotics firms have spent billions trying to mitigate. Her power management system is equally refined. There are no charging pads required. Instead, she frequently enters a highly efficient Cuddle Plush battery conservation mode, utilizing her included Yellow Dog peripheral. Most importantly, her biological emotional engine provides instant, genuine feedback. She expresses joy without requiring a Wi-Fi connection, firmware update, or monthly subscription fee. It is the great irony of the last 30 years of consumer electronics. Millions of years of natural evolution had already perfected the exact form factor human engineers were desperately trying to mimic. Modern AI pets are absolute engineering marvels, capable of incredible processing and complex navigation. But when it comes down to it, a real dog remains the undisputed pinnacle of domestic connection.